long time ago I said technology would be the death of me. And I seriously mean that. I did a live this morning, went very well, and now all of a sudden I can't find it. Okay? Anyway, let me tell you what it was about. But first of all, I'm talking about Diddy's lawyers. And, they can't be that dumb, seriously. These guys went to law school, they graduated, so they can't be that dumb. What I think is Diddy is giving them instructions, telling them what to do, and they're taking his money because you gotta remember, a lawyer gets paid. They're not going on these podcasts and these talk shows and not being paid. They're being paid by Diddy. All right? They get paid for everything. They get paid for breathing. Okay? So you got to know that. But what they're putting out there, and if Diddy hasn't putting it out, it's stupid, it's dumb. These are things that you don't do when you're awaiting sentence. These are the things that are going to hurt you. Okay? People write me and tell me, stop talking about Diddy. Well, I would if Diddy and his lawyers didn't give me and all the other content creators all this crap to talk about. And I'm getting tired of talking about Diddy. Seriously. It's just too much. I don't feel sorry for Diddy. His businesses are still operating. Trust me, if Diddy had no money, these lawyers would not be representing him. No way, no how. None of them. Mark Garagos is a publicity seeker. That's what he's known for. He's not known as a good lawyer. Hi, Jaden, thank you for coming. No, Mark Garagos is soup, all right? Not a good lawyer. Nobody would hire him if they had a criminal problem. Maybe for a civil matter, they might. A traffic ticket or something like that. Maybe he's good for that there. I'm good, Jaden. Thank you. Now, Jaden, I was just telling the people, okay, you're the only one here. So, I'm waiting for people to come in here. And we're getting some in. JK Goofy Juice is on punching. All right, thank you, folks, for coming. Look, folks, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel because I got a lot of good stuff to tell you. I was just telling Jaden and the other people here, okay, I did a live show this morning and it's disappeared off the planet. Technology is going to be the thing that's going to destroy me. I swear to God. But anyways, I'm talking about Diddy's lawyers, all right, and how they are robbing him. If Diddy had no money, they would not. Well, we got somebody from Russia. That's great. Got a lot of Russian friends, I do. Okay? What girl? All right, I'm looking to find a girl. Yeah, Santa Claus. Is he real? Yeah, he's real. Well, we got a lot of bots in here, folks. I'm not going to pay attention to it. Let me get down to the point about Diddy's lawyers. Okay? And they're not dumb, that's for sure. And they wouldn't be representing Diddy if Diddy had no money. And they're milking him for every single penny. All right? Every single penny that they can get. Because they know after sentencing, it's over with. All right? Then it's the appeal lawyer that takes over. All right? And I think the appeal lawyer is going to have a good appeal because they're going to say, Diddy's going to say he had incompetent lawyers. Watch. That's what he's going to say. Because he does. All right? He's got money-hungry lawyers. Beginning with Mark Garagos. All right? Mark Garagos is the one who introduced him to Mark Agnanoff. Okay? Thank you for all your love. I appreciate all you people with your love. Okay? But don't think Diddy, look, even though Diddy is not worth $1 billion, he's still worth several hundred million, which is a lot of money. Okay? And his business is still operating. And I'm going to tell you some things that you're going to be shocked by of who's running his company. Somebody that nobody's talking about. Watch. But in the meantime, please subscribe, like, and share. And don't be afraid to hit that thanks button if you want. A lot of people tell me they can't find the thanks button. And I was told it's because they didn't sign in to their YouTube network. But, if you go up into my settings, you'll see that I got Cash App and Venmo if you wanted to do a little something there. All right, let's get off that. All right, let's talk about Diddy's company. All right. Diddy owns his publishing. That publishing alone is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And Diddy refused a 9-figure deal to sell it. Okay? Now, Diddy said, I don't know if he did it or not, all right? That in 2023, Diddy announced he was giving back the publishing rights to various artists who had been signed to Bad Boy Records. Diddy's decision to return the publishing rights is seen as a move to empower artists and change the dynamic within the music industry. Did he do that? Did he give the rights to Biggie Smalls' mother? I don't think so. So I think that's a bunch of garbage. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Give me your thought. All right? Okay, you all know that he had Revolt Media and Television. He sold his 90% stake in that there. All right? Spirit Brands, he previously settled a legal dispute with Diageo, relinquishing control of his C-Rock and DeLorean brands. Music catalog remains intact for now. Diddy's estimated net worth has decreased significantly because of his serious legal issues that he's got going. Now, as I said earlier, Diddy wants to get out of jail just like the other 3,000 inmates in MDC and every detention center and every prison. Every inmate wants to get out of prison. Okay? But when you're there for pre-sentencing, all right, you don't come out and say you're going to help people, you're going to help abuse people. He doesn't know how to help abuse people. Okay? When I got sentenced, the first thing I did in front of the judge was I took responsibility for everything I did. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And there was ugly, folks. All right? I took full and total responsibility. I didn't blame nobody else. Okay? It was nobody else's fault but my own. And I'm right here with you all here. I say that again. Okay? Now, who's running Diddy's company? What's Diddy? Let's get back to what Diddy's very afraid of. Well, every defendant there waiting sentencing or been indicted and waiting for their court date are afraid of, they're afraid of another indictment coming down. Because look, they're all criminals. They've done other things that they haven't been caught. And that's what they worry about. I know it, I did. Everyone does. And where there's smoke, there's fire. Now you take a guy with a high profile that Diddy's got, with all this smoke going around about Tupac, Biggie, and how they became unalive. Everybody's pointing the finger at him, including Suge Knight. Yeah, I just heard Suge Knight on YouTube. He's saying it's the same shooter and the Biggie as there was in the Tupac. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm telling you, it was Suge Knight said. All right? But you got KPD sitting in detention in Las Vegas. And he said that Diddy paid $1 million for the unliving of Tupac Shakur. He said it. Somebody received that $1 million. They're going to find that. The government is definitely investigating. So he's got some problem. If they can put the nails in the right hole or squares in the right peg, as they say, okay, uh, he's in serious trouble. Folks, I'm going to ask you again, please subscribe to my channel, all right, and all those things help me somehow, and I really appreciate it. I do. I thank you very much. Now, as I said, who's running Diddy's company? Okay, wait to hear this. Following Sean Diddy's Combs' legal issues and the sale of his stake in Revolt Media, his business empire, oh, his business empire has been significant changes. While Diddy previously held a strong leadership role, his companies are now managed by a team of executives, including those at Combs Global. Some key figures include, guess who? Christina Coram. She's still there. They got her. Formerly as chief of staff. All right. Combs Global. This entity houses various Diddy-owned businesses, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Love Records, and Revolt and Media Television, which he sold. Key executives. First one, Christina Coram, Diddy's chief of staff. She played a significant role in managing his affairs. Do you think she knows anything about the Tupac and Biggie or all these people who became unalive mysteriously? You know, like Kim Porter and several other who got pneumonia and so forth. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Nathalie Moore, Moar, Global Communications Strategist, responsible for managing Diddy's narrative and brand image. Now, knowing a little bit about branding and so forth, I'm going to have to assume that she's probably the one putting out this propaganda. I don't know. Dion Grant, Chief Brand Officer, Tarek A. Brooks, President, Jay Lundy, Senior VP of Investing in New Ventures. All right? Christina Coram. Her name is still there. Nobody hears from her. I find that very mysterious. Maybe it's just me being a gangster and, you know, I've seen a lot of people disappear, okay, and never be around. But she's still around. You know, in the life we had a saying. You go to breakfast and you don't see Bobby this morning. You don't ask where Bobby is. You don't see him the next day, okay? You know Bobby ain't coming back, okay? It's just a thing that you know about in the life and you don't say a word. Keep your mouth shut. So anyways, Diddy's net worth is, they say, is $200 to $300 million. Still a lot of money. Liquid cash somewhere between 50 and 70 million. I don't know the exact numbers, but you know, those are numbers that I looked up myself, what I saw. But the only one that really knows is Diddy and his executives, and I'm sure his family probably knows too. Okay, so, but you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of fake news out there. Okay. Now, I got nothing against Tisa Tell. She seems like a very nice lady. She's trying hard. She's built up a nice network of people, okay? But, I heard her say, talking about Diddy's having people writing letters and how stupid that is, or something to that effect, she said. Now, it was stupid about Gina writing a letter. I could see that. But no matter who you are, when you're going for sentencing, everybody has their friends, their families, their business associates, whoever they could get, write a letter to the judge. Okay? And then he's got a lot of business acquaintances, which I'm sure he did very good business with. All right? He had his clothing line, all right, in all the major department stores and elsewhere. Okay? All right? They were happy with his brand. They did stop his brand after he was indicted because he's a woman beater. Okay? Flat out, he's a woman beater. Flat out, Maureen Comey won the RICO. His lawyers didn't win that RICO. Maureen Comey wrote it. She knew what she was doing when she wrote that indictment. Okay? She knew about it. She knew what she was doing. But there's a new sheriff in town. His name is Jay Clayton. He was put there by President Donald J. Trump. And he's not messing around. Okay? He's asking the judge to go above the guidelines to give Diddy as much time as possible, while his lawyers are trying to get him out on time served. Time served, never going to work. Okay? Diddy's going to get some time. Okay? And I go with Mimi there. All right? 10 years. If Diddy only gets 10 years, he should kiss the ground and be very happy. Because in 10 years, he's got to do 8.5, which means he's already got a year in. September, he'll have a year in. So he's only got to do 7.5 more years. All right? So he should kiss the ground if he only gets 10 years. But don't think that the parole board that's doing the PSR, all right, pre-sentencing report, don't think that they forgot about the guns, the drugs, the bribery, okay, and all these other things that everybody's talking about. They're all going to be enhancements. So the judge is going to have an awful lot of time that he wants to give judge. He has no personal hatred towards Diddy, as some people want to say. All right? There's no hatred. This is not a white or black thing, okay? For anybody who wants to say that. All right? I'm everybody's grandpa, Sean Jones. All right? Oh, look, I've never been to a Diddy party. I'm really not a party guy. I don't like parties. I don't like to be around a lot of people. I gotta be honest with you. That's me. Now, most of you know that I wrote a book that's being made into a Hollywood movie. Okay? I want to show you some of the people that are in my book. So you know that I'm not, when I talk, I tell you the truth. I tell you the true facts. Okay? Sometimes I make a mistake when I predict things. It's like I made a prediction that Diddy would be found guilty of the RICO. And I was wrong. So, what can I tell you? Huh? Pops can write. Heather read my book, she knows. I want to show you some people in this book. You heard me talk about, oh, look at it. Here's a picture. All right, when I tell you I know people, I know them. You know who these people are here, right here? That's Wyclef John and Danny Sims. Okay? They came with me to the opening of the Bob Marley exhibit that I did at the Queen Mary. All right, with my company, my son, and another partner, Global Treasures. We produced it, as well as the Titanic and many other things. But that's Wyclef John and Danny Sims who discovered Bob Marley. Check it out. All right, Danny Sims. All right, this guy over here. For those of you who watch, what do they call those shows in the afternoon? Uh, this is Thorsten Kaye. All right, he's the actor in. Geez, I just had a senior moment. Okay, forgot. Uh, it's one of those soap opera shows. You know what I mean? Thorsten Kaye. All right, over here. All right, this is dinner with Jack Gilardi and the cast that we put together. I put together for a film. All right, for a director who had the money, got the film made, and had the money to pay me. And of course, you pay me, I do what I tell you to do. Over there, the top picture is Nick Pileggi, who wrote Goodfellas and Casino. I'm sure most of you have seen that. Nick is a very dear friend. Under that there is my guy Charles from Yugoslavia. Charles was my main guy. He went with me anywhere, even to Europe. No matter where I went, Charles was with me. Nobody messed with Charles. This guy down here, John Connolly. For those of you who are interested in the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, it was John Connolly who wrote the book, Filthy Rich. He began one of the first investigative reporters with Vanity Fair to investigate Jeffrey Epstein. So, folks, when I tell you I know people, I knew people, I'm not bullshitting you, okay? All right? Right there, Joey Pyle, the head of the firm of London, okay? We're making a movie on him. He passed away in 2007. Over there, Jimmy Conchi and Joe Todaro. Who was Jimmy Conchi? Jimmy Conchi was the underboss of Los Angeles. He was my dear friend. Ounce for ounce, Jimmy Conchi was much better than Sonny Franche ever thought about. All right? Chrissy, look, you know what? I don't block nobody, all right? And let them write their crap, their bots, all right? Or whatever a bot is. Let them write, okay? It don't bother me, okay? All right? First of all, they don't have 2 cents to rub together. Understand that, all right? Now, folks, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Because I come here every day to try to give you good content. I don't have 1 million followers like some people. You know why? Because I tell you the truth. And most people cannot take the truth. Jack Nicholson was right in that movie when he said, you can't take the truth. Joe Todaro was the boss of Buffalo. You don't believe me? Look it up. Okay? You know who that is? That's Russell Buffalino. You know who he is? He's the guy that Robert De Niro played in The Irishman. So, folks, when I tell you, I know people. And that good-looking dude with the Cadillac Eldorado there, that's me when I was young. So, folks, if you want my book, it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other places that fine books are sold. And if you want an autographed copy, just go to my website. It's all there in my profile. Also, folks, if you're on Instagram, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Facebook. And, I make $2.21 For Meta. That's for Instagram and Facebook. Okay, I got 60 something thousand followers on Instagram. I don't know how many on Facebook. All right, $2.21. You know you can't buy a bar of candy for that anything. You're comparing entertainment. I compare everything, folks, because I've done everything. I've been there, I've done it, and I don't give you no bullshit. Okay? And we got some really bad people here with these fake snakes. Okay? You wish you were John Wick. Okay? I bet you don't have 2 cents to rub together. Anyways, folks, that's about it today. I'm going to give this a wrap. All right? This is the latest I've ever done a live show. Thank you for coming, and God bless you all, and all my love and respect to you all. Have a great day.